Yep, that's right. 2 days in a row, I'm back. Yeah, so I know I did a live stream the other night and stuff, and normally I don't really like do a live stream. Like once I do a one live stream for the weekend, I usually just call it for the weekend. But I decided, and I kind of talked about this sort of last night, but I was going to do another stream today because it was getting late and I didn't feel like staying up enough to react and talk about the Chaotix files. Uh, so I figure I might as well do it today. So consider this maybe part two. And this also might be one of my, like I said, final streams before my own birthday and stuff. So that's also something because my birthday is coming up this week. My brother's birthday was yesterday, and happy Pi Day, everybody. So this won't be a long stream because I don't really have anything else lined up except for the Chaotix files. So let's talk about it.
Local tax experts are.
But yeah, I gotta say I'm definitely happy that we're definitely getting back Infinite. Infinite has finally come back to the world of Sonic. This stuff has been quite a while since he's been like just up and missing. Like, and don't get me wrong, I know it sounds like I'm kind of hyping up Infinite as a character and stuff. I'm not a huge fan of Infinite like that, but he's just a character to me that I just always felt like he has a lot of potential. Even when he first like showed up and he defeated Sonic or whatever, like Infinite has a really cool character design, a cool theme song, and everything. And it just feels like a complete waste just to not do anything else with that character after like Sonic Forces. And Infinite, that dude kind of disappeared for like 9 years. It's been almost 10 years since Sonic Forces and stuff. And I'm like, man, where the hell is Infinite at? You know, like I mean, it's nice that we have Doctor Eggman and everything, but Sonic doesn't have too many villains that usually stick around like that. So I always feel like Infinite is definitely that character that's like irredeemable and that can definitely like come back and stuff and be a problem for Sonic. You know, and a lot of people like characters like Mephiles the Dark and stuff, who's like one of Sonic's other villains. He's more of a personal villain for Shadow though, but still, like people do like villains like that. And it would be kind of a little bit nice, in my personal opinion, to kind of just get away from Doctor Eggman a little bit and just try other things. Like I know it's a little bit hard to kind of imagine, like, oh well, Sonic fighting something else other than just robots and stuff all the time or an evil scientist. But yeah, I mean, Sonic has fought like demons and aliens and stuff like that. He's fought, demons or monsters inside like the Sonic storybook book series, which he's never really fought any robots in that version. But yeah, so it would be nice to kind of see a little bit of a change of pace or like a different something like different you know from the formula. Anyways, what's happening, Ashes? Welcome back. Still bet that despite Infinite's return, Sega just push him solely to mobile games. Yeah, I wouldn't put it past them. I mean, like they have the rights to like some of the IDW characters and stuff like Tangle, Whisper, or Surgeon Kid. Some of them are just like, oh, like just not like they're just for the mobile games. But I'm just saying, like I really do hope they bring back Infinite. But this was definitely a really solid moment. Finally, that we're getting something with that character in quite a while. Let me play it. And I think even the comics and stuff, like they had a mandate where they couldn't use Infinite as much as like Ian Flynn really wanted to. I heard, but they couldn't like use them and stuff because they was like, no, we don't want you to use Infinite just yet. Like you got something planned for them, but here we are 9 years later. But at least we got this with the Chaotix files, so let's play it.
No job too big, no gig too small, nothing too dangerous, chaotic do it all. Give us your mystery, you wouldn't want to miss when the chaotics are on the case.
By the way, I think I heard Rebecca Sugar, the creator of Steven Universe, that came up with that theme. Just to put that out there. I'm not again. I respect Rebecca Sugar, and I did like Steven Universe, but I'm kind of mad about how like Steven Universe kind of inspired a lot of the trends in modern day cartoons, which is kind of yeah, it was just like she shouldn't have done that. But I will say though, I mean, she's at least a good musician and all that, and she's a little, she's pretty creative. So it's nice to see. And I know she's a huge. Her and her husband are like huge Sonic fans. So that's nice that they're definitely getting these opportunities to definitely like work on like Sonic related stuff. Mandates is literally the biggest proof that Sega is afraid of good storytelling and character work. I mean, you can still have good storytelling in Mandates, but sometimes you just can't get a little bit too crazy with the characters or with the stuff because they do have an image and just doing random stuff or whatever would like kind of like So I get it at the same time, but it's also kind of like, but at the same time, it's like a double-edged sword where it's kind of like, really, really, guys, you couldn't just use these like just for a minute or do something.
So yeah, that's when I woke up here.
Oh yeah, and I also like how this definitely like I know I talked about the Chaotix Files a little bit before in one of my other streams not too long ago, but I was saying like I definitely like how they're definitely giving a lot of the supporting characters even outside of Sonic, of course. They're giving some of the characters like you got Team Chaotix, which this is a very good celebration for their 30th anniversary, which was last year, but this is like Sega's way of like, well, we gave you the comic stuff, but how about we give you this this little Chaotix audio kind of thing about about a solo adventure that they have went on that involves like Dr. Eggman, Sage, Infinite, and all this other stuff in the world of Sonic. So it's kind of nice. Vector's the main protagonist and stuff. Obviously, Vector is not like powerful enough to take on Infinite, but you're at least doing something with his character and stuff where you get to flesh him out, or we see his interactions with other characters, and then you got the big villain himself, Infinite. So yeah, which that's kind of crazy too, because I was like, man, because remember I was doing my Tails versus Infinite thing, which is still coming. Hopefully, I'll be able to finish it this coming week. But man, like I don't know, like that is crazy. That I was like literally I was just making this animation of Tails versus Infinite for that reasoning, where I'm like, okay, well, if Sega's not going to bring back Infinite, why not I like have Infinite show up as my own thing, and Tails can kind of fight him, because I feel like Tails needs like a little bit of that. He needs some attention and stuff. I know he has a few moments here and there in the comics or in Sonic Frontiers, but I mean, like, I really need Tails to kind of like lock in and really show that he's like that badass and stuff. That he definitely can be. So that's what my animation would prove. I'm not going to show it because I'm really, I really want to save some stuff as a surprise when the animation comes out, because you guys would be like, oh my god, this is actually pretty good. But Infinite though, I'm just like, really cool powers and stuff, or interesting powers. Probably not the best in the world, but if you think about it, like when you think about how you can use it in creative ways, let's play it.
Caged inside of a forgotten Eggman base, and with world-renowned hero Sonic the Hedgehog already locked up too. Which reminds me, I've been meaning to ask, Sonic, how'd you let Eggman get the drop on you anyway?
Yes, rodent. Why don't you explain the circumstances that resulted in your incarceration?
I got a call for help from Tails, or at least I thought it was Tails. He's getting pretty good at taking care of himself, so it had to be serious if he was calling me. So I came out to check and found someone who looked like him, except it wasn't him. Because next thing I know, I got zapped by one of Eggman's ray guns and woke up here.
Wait, you got lured into a trap by someone masquerading as someone you know? But, Dr. Eggman, you can't be the lens thief.
Ha! Your understanding of the situation is as limited as your vocabulary.
Sorry, I'm eating fries. Even though I want the Chaotix on the big screen, I think we don't need them in the movies. The movies should flesh out the four main, the main four. I don't like that Tails is just in Shadow or Sonic's the shadow of Sonic and Knuckles. I understand Ash's. I do want the Chaotix definitely to be in the movies, though. That's just me. And the movie versions of the Chaotix do exist because Vector and SBO actually made a cameo in the prequel comic, the comic that takes place in between Sonic 1 and Sonic 2, the movie, where they appeared in Knuckles' portion. So, they had a small cameo, but they definitely do exist. They're out there. So it's not impossible to kind of bring them over to the movies. I would like to see them in the movies, But I also get what you mean too, because even like in the movies and stuff, Tails kind of like feels a little bit like a second fiddle and stuff to like um, Sonic and Knuckles, and then like especially at least in Sonic 3, like yeah, he has a pretty cool moment where he's able to like kind of rein in Sonic and stuff who's kind of everywhere, but more so like yeah, but Tails is not like the highlight like that or anything, or he's not doing anything super major. I mean, he is plot wise, sort of, but but I really want like, I'm a fan of Tails and stuff instead of being like, Tails is cute and everything, but
Hey, I know words.
Eloquently put. No, Gumshoe, I'm not the one who's been absconding with your precious artifacts, but I do have something in common with them. And thanks to you, now I can capitalize on the situation. Because you see, I've had this the whole time!
That's the last lens.
You bet your tacky headphones it is, Crocodile. Now, you were, I believe, about to reveal the identity of the thief who's been making off with all the other lenses. What was that? Sage.
and I'm not gonna lie, I did not know who the thief was going to be. I was kind of thinking, I mean, shapeshifter, then mimic possibly, but I don't know. I was like, yeah, it makes sense as Infinite. I just didn't think Sega would actually go as far as to bring Infinite back after all this time. Well, I mean, like I said, it's been 9 years, but still, I'm like, I don't know. They just for some reason just like have been holding out or just bringing back Infinite for whatever reason. But I was like, oh, well, maybe it's probably Mimic or something. I guess that's like disguising himself as like different Sonic characters and just trying to give the Chaotix the slip up or something.
Yes, Doctor?
What was that disturbance I just heard?
Something appears to have tripped the perimeter defense in Sector 3.
Fine. This base is impregnable, but if your little cohorts insist on flinging themselves into it like bugs against a windshield, I suppose the least I can do is go scrape them off. Stay put, you two! That never gets old.
Vector, did you know Eggman had the last lens?
How could I have known he had the last lens, Sonic?
Okay, well, in any case, were you serious when you said you knew who the actual thief was?
Yes, come here. I don't want Sage to overhear me if I can help it. It's Infinite.
Dun dun dun. But yeah, when I heard that, I was like, no way. It's him.
Infinite?
No way!
Espio, Charmy, I knew you'd come for us. The Chaotix Detective Agency, together again.
Yeah, Aspio showed us how to sneak in. Plus, we brought Tango and Whisper and Tails, too.
The stealthy part would have been a lot more difficult without Tails providing a distraction.
Those improvised explosions were impressive. Aw, thanks, Whisper.
But how? Eggman said this base was impregnable.
Well, let's just say, when it comes to genius inventions, looks like it's Tails 1, Eggman 0. Hey, Sonic, you okay?
Yeah, a little worse for the wear, but nothing I can't run off. Now, if you guys will please just get us out of here.
Hey, Espio.
And like I said, I do like Tails and stuff. He does have like sometimes he definitely does contribute a lot. Not taking it away from anything, but I'm just saying I really want him to be like the center focus for a highlight. That's just my personal opinion,
A little help?
Hence why my animation and stuff is coming out.
Right. I can pick these locks. It'll only take a couple minutes.
We may not have a couple minutes.
I know. Eggman could return any second. I'll hurry.
Or,
Let me read this thing out. Yet, Sega will never bring back Mighty and Ray, even though they're basically the part of the Chaotix. At least Mighty certainly is. Yeah, well, I know you're gonna hate this, me saying this too, Ashes. I mean, they do bring back Mighty and Ray. They just won't bring them back into the modern era, though, for whatever reason. Because whenever they have like the classic characters, they use the classic characters just as the classic characters. So like Knack or Fang, whatever, Mighty and Ray, they won't really bring them over into the modern era of like Sonic games. They'll kind of like keep them in the classic era of like Sonic stuff. So whenever they do like a flashback or a classic Sonic adventure, oh yeah, they'll definitely show up in there because they've shown up in like Mania Adventures or the 30th anniversary specials that they have for the like the classic characters and stuff. So Yeah, they do bring them back, but they won't be like, how they were in the Archie comics, where yeah, they were kind of brought back into the modern era. Yeah, they won't do that for some reason, at least not for a while, anyways. Which is kind of like, that's kind of very limiting, but
Tails could bomb the locks.
Well, Tangle, we can either do it quiet or we can do it fast.
No, that's what I'm trying to say. Eggman probably already knows you're here. He's got his creepy AI kid Sage monitoring the whole base.
Let's go for fast then. Tails, want to do the honors here?
Sure thing, Sonic. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. After that big distraction I said earlier, there's only enough material left to get one of you out.
Oh, I got it. Tails, you bust Sonic out with a bang. Espio, time to show off your lock-picking skills.
That works. Ready, Tails?
One lock-busting bomb coming up. Tangle, stand back, please.
Oh, hang on, wait a minute. Just a second ago, you were saying the real lens thief is Infinite? As in the super bad news former mercenary Jackal, who used to be Eggman's right hand?
Yes.
that's the one. Is it me or is not Sega but Christian Whitehead who gave a shit about Mighty Array? Though it's strange that Sega actually bothered to bring Fang back to the superstars. Being Bart are still dead though. Oh yeah. Yeah, Bean and Bart count too. I don't know about them being dead, but I mean, well, you probably mean like, obviously, well, they're not being utilized like that. I mean, yeah, because, they were in Fang or Knack's little anniversary thing, or his little, not anniversary, but his little mini series and stuff, where they decided just to break up Team Hooligans because of how he was treating them and everything, which led into Sonic Superstars. But yeah, I'm pretty sure whenever, again, they do more classic Sonic stuff. Yeah, it's the same thing with Mighty Array. They'll probably bring back Bean and Bark every once in a while. But in the modern era, they're not going to, like, bring them in there for whatever reason.
Right. The file name is what tipped me off. Red Spectre. Sonic, what's another name for Spectre?
I know, Phantom, you said that. But how's... Oh, Ruby Red, Red Spectre, the Phantom Ruby!
Exactly. When Infinite had the Phantom Ruby, he used it to create all sorts of fake versions of stuff. Something like the astroscopic lenses would be right up his alley. Because it seems like they do sort of the same thing. And Eggman just confirmed it. One lens let him pretend to be Tails so he could capture Sonic.
Hey, okay, no need to rehash irrelevant details. Anyway, if Infinite found another lens out in the...
And they actually could have made that a little bit more interesting in Sonic Forces' story, where what if the world turned against Shadow because of, he attacked Sonic or whatever, and he's helping Eggman take over the world and stuff, because remember, like, I don't know, for whatever reason, that was just never acknowledged, but, like, remember, like, how in Sonic Forces and stuff, we get this, like, whole mystery of, like, oh, snap, there's Chaos Zero, there's Shadow, there's Metal Sonic, there's Zavok, and they're all working with Dr. Eggman and this new character Infinite. Like, what's the deal? And then we find out that, pretty much, the Metal Sonic, for whatever reason, wasn't, even though they justified that later and said that, the real Metal Sonic was injured for a while and needed repair. So they went with, so Infinite made a clone of him. But Zavok, Shadow, and Chaos were all just like, they were all just like, clones created by the Phantom Ruby by Infinite. But I was thinking, like, maybe like narratively, you could probably make that into an interesting thing with Shadow. That what if other people had turned on Shadow, or think, oh, Shadow's called Rogan or something again, or AWOL, because he's helping Eggman and all of them like take over the world. That would be pretty interesting and a good way of like Infinite getting a little bit of his revenge back on Shadow, compared to what in his origin story where like Shadow defeated him and called him weak and stuff, and if it was like, I'm not weak. But yeah, but just the idea that I've had, Forces could have been a bit better if it focused more on the tension between Shadow and Infinite. Shadow DLC is stupidly short. Yes it is. I remember I got it. luckily I didn't have to pay for it because by the time I decided to get like the whole episode Shadow stuff, that was free. Like, like I'm not even lying. Like that stuff was actually free by the time I got it. Yeah, Sonic Forces was not really a good game like that. I'm not going to lie to you. However, and I'm kind of mad that I lost this too. So like, let me tell you a quick little story. So when I got Sonic Forces, right? Sonic Forces is like one of the first games I got on my Nintendo Switch, and I got the like it came with like this little skin that I can put on my controllers and stuff. And I had like, you know, it looked really good on my controllers. I mean, again, didn't like the game like that per se, but I did like the skin on my controllers and stuff like that. But then I remember one time I took an Uber because I was gonna like take a bus to go home or whatever, like the mega bus. Like my I left my controllers in the Uber car and stuff, and I was like looking through my bag, like, wait, where's my? And I'm like, oh, I forgot it in the Uber. So man, I was mad. I guess I could go online and still like find this like little skin for like you know, so I can put on my Joy-Cons probably, because I got some new ones now that are pink and green and stuff. I like to call it Cosmo and Wanda sort of, but yeah. Sonic is cool game. All Sonic games is beat. Nice. Hey, what's happening, X-Kid? But yeah. But anyways, let me get back to this. I know I've been rambling for a minute.
Wild somewhere.
That's how he's pretending to be other people, while he's stealing the rest of them.
Okay, but what happens if Infinite gets all the lenses? Would that make him as powerful as he was when he had the Phantom Ruby?
No! That power shall be mine!
Eggman! Since when did you start just appearing from out of nowhere?
Since I gained possession of this splendid lens artifact, detective. And now that you've supplied the last piece of the puzzle, namely Infinite, I'll have no trouble commanding my former subordinate to hand over the rest of the lenses.
Fire in the hole!
Well, would you look at that? Nice work, Tails. Sonic the Hedgehog is free as a bird.
Freedom never felt so good.
Espio, how much longer?
Yeah, it's been like 7 episodes. I'm just playing. I think Forces is fine, but Sega definitely deserves all the backlash for spitting in the ceiling for 4 years rather than making Forces. Yeah, I know. I remember that was crazy. That took a pretty much majority of my high school years for them to finally put out Sonic Forces or put out a new mainstream Sonic game, you know, because I think it was like, because Sonic Lost World came out back in 2013. And I know some people are like, yeah, they don't like Sonic Lost World. I'm not going to lie. I think Sonic Lost World is actually pretty fine. Yeah, I know it's not as good as Mario Galaxy, and they are trying to be like a knockoff. Excuse me. Mario Galaxy. But I still enjoyed it. I thought it was a pretty fun game. And I played it on the 3DS. But a lot of people say they enjoyed it more on the Wii U. But regardless, though, that was 2013, and that was like my freshman year in high school. And then, you know, for years, like the only Sonic thing that was really going like that was like the Archie comics, which, you know, eventually got canceled in 2017, and Sonic Boom, the you know, the cartoon, and then they had some spin-off games and stuff like Rise of Lyric, and then well, you know, the show's a spin-off of the games, but Rise of Lyric, and then the 3DS games, Shatter Crystal and Fire and Ice, which those games were kind of generic. I haven't played Rise of Lyric yet, but who knows? Maybe it could be a little bit of an underrated gem, or it has, yeah, because I keep hearing, like, you know, especially from like Mugen Lord, because I think I might have talked about this before, but he was kind of saying that honestly it was, you know, he liked the interactions and stuff, and Sonic Boom has so much potential, and I agree. It definitely did have a lot of potential, like, you know. But yeah, but they weren't focusing on the main Sonic series either for a while either, until we get to like 2017, like 4 years after Lost World, to like, you know, to finally get to that. So it was kind of like, well, that's, yeah, crazy. But anyways, but I kind of hated how Forces just like threw in every gimmicky kind of thing from like the colors era, and just like, all right, like the fans are going to eat this up. Like that was kind of lazy.
This is a long couple of minutes.
I've almost got it. Just need a little more time.
Eggman, you might as well just hand over that lens before things get rough.
Rough like this?
Reminds me of Sonic Boom. I guess he had it rough.
Get away from that cage, lizard!
Espio, are you okay?
Here's a little tidbit for you to ponder while you enjoy my lovely cage, Vector. Your grimy little helpers only made it into the base because I instructed Sage to let them in. As if a ridiculous little wannabe ninja could infiltrate my defenses.
Wow. Unnecessary.
And SBO always just be getting disrespected. Man, SBO, like, he has so much potential, cool character design, and just, you know, a ninja is cool in general. And it's like, man, why does this man always keep getting shit on like that?
Well, Espio, you did let Rouge steal one of your kunai earlier.
Wow, unnecessary.
Attention.
Oh, great. Sage is back.
Stage 5 protection protocol initiated. Engaging all blast doors. There really is no escape now.
Hey, Dr.
Let's see. I prefer Knuckles from Boom Knuckles from Rise of Larry in the show. He's fun in the show, but the game made him so cool. Joke bantering between him and Sonic. Yeah, I haven't seen the interactions like that in Rise of Larry, but yeah, I remember I have seen some of the cutscenes and stuff, and yeah, Boom Knuckles is definitely a completely different character compared to like how he is in the show. Because in the show, they kind of made him like the residential meathead idiot kind of character and stuff, where, you know, it has a little bit of its charm. Like, you know, I mean, at first I'm not a huge fan of it, but you kind of just grow to like it. But when like Knuckles gets like his own kind of like focused episodes inside Sonic Boom, they're kind of the weakest compared to like some of the other characters as like focused episodes, you know. But yeah, he's kind of like a little bit like a Patrick Star type of character inside like Sonic Boom. But I understand, yeah. Rise of Larry, the game probably handled Knuckles a lot more better and stuff, because they were trying to go into a little bit more of a serious direction, like an action kind of comedy kind of thing. But then Boom was like, well, let's make it a little bit more into just focus on the comedy aspect than a, you know, action adventure kind of thing.
Rick, before we make any rash decisions here, or engage in any kind of disagreement that might end up causing hurt feelings, or, you know, severe lacerations, there is one thing I don't understand.
Have you not already stalled for enough time, Gumshoe? Do you not see that it was all for nothing?
But that's what I'm talking about. My theory of the lens thief being infinite is just that. A theory. The last time we saw him, he had, kind of died in battle, remember?
As I recall, no body was ever recovered.
Yeah, and that's always like the whole, you know, well, we never saw a body, or this character could possibly come back to life. You never know. And it's the same thing with like Dr. Starline. Well, Mimic might come back somehow in some way, possibly, but Dr. Starline. I mean, yeah, I know Ian Flynn definitely did confirm he died, but come on. They kind of left it a little bit open-ended where Dr. Starline could possibly come back. And I think this is, like I said, the other day I was saying in the comics, it seems like Dr. Starline, like that, like phantom cloaked figure or whatever, might actually be him and stuff. So I'm like, yes, please let that be Dr. Starline. He needs to come back. And I would actually kind of prefer Dr. Starline if he was actually the main villain and stuff, you know, if he just took Eggman's place. That's just personal opinion. And again, no shade towards Dr. Eggman. Dr. Eggman is still the GOAT Sonic villain, but still, it's like, come on, man. He like needs he just needs to step down for a minute, like for a bit, in my personal opinion. It's just like yeah, overblown. But that's kind of why I always talk about like when I'm talking about Infinite. But let's get back to this.
And given my former lieutenant's resourcefulness, tenacity, and truly astonishing ability to hold a grudge.
Oh yeah, and it was a complete shame too how like Infinite was not even the final villain in Sonic Forces, even though he was promoted to be the main villain. It's like the same thing with like Sonic Lost World, where Sonic Lost World was like, you know, the Deadly Six and Zavok is like, they're the main villains of the game. And they are, but then Eggman shows up as the final boss and stuff. And it's like, man, that is crazy. So, and it was definitely worse with Infinite because it was like, man, like Infinite just came off as like a sub-boss and stuff and a lackey for Dr. Eggman at the end of the day. When usually, like, sometimes stuff like that, like in Sonic Adventure, you know, Chaos, for example, like Chaos is like, oh, he's Dr. Eggman's lackey, but he's only pretending to be that until he betrays them at the last minute, like he did when he became perfect chaos.
You'll have to consider me not at all surprised if he turns up very much alive.
Doctor, this Infinite. According to my files, he was a black furred jackal with white dreadlocks, in possession of a metallic mask decorated with a black lightning bolt over his right eye. Is that accurate?
Yes, Sage. Why do you ask?
Because he
It's like, yeah.
just appeared directly above our current location.
Take cover! The ceiling's coming down!
No! My impeccable base! Looking pretty pregnable from here, Doc.
There's debris dropping everywhere! Get to the walls and take cover! The walls, people!
The only good thing about still being locked up in a cage is that I'm protected from the hailstorm of concrete raining down from above.
Let's see. I hope they won't bring back Chaos, though. His story is complete. Someone like the Deadly Six just needs potential treatment. I wouldn't be against them bringing back Chaos. I mean, yeah, his story is complete. And honestly, Chaos shouldn't really be a villain. They could probably make him into like more of a neutral kind of heroic character from that point. And, Chaos has sort of been here and there. Like, he appeared in, what was it? Sonic Battle, where, yeah, the real Chaos, he showed up and stuff. And he was like, they were saying that, Prophecy has that Chaos shows whenever there's like distress or there's like, in the world or something like that. So they could definitely find a way to utilize them and bring them back. And they have done sometimes that in the comics, not in IDW, but back when they had like Archie and stuff. Like, remember like the Sonic and Mega Man crossover, like Chaos showed up to like try to help out Sonic, or in the rebooted timeline, like Chaos also showed up to help out, I think, Sonic and Rotor. So they can definitely utilize Chaos in some ways. Especially that he has a connection now, or they added a little bit more to his lore inside Sonic Frontiers, where these where the ancient ones, they're like, Chaos is a descendant from them.
And what's a hard-boiled detective to do in a situation like this? Well, they say it's never really over until the Eggman sings, or something like that. And I don't hear any singing, so that means it's go time. Except I'm not going anywhere. But I can use my voice to help out my friends.
Hey, Tangle! Grab Tails, quick!
Tails, watch out!
Oh, thanks, Tangle. You pulled me out from under that boulder just in time. Guess your one tail is faster than my two, huh?
Oh, don't thank me yet. Feels like the whole base is destabilizing.
Whisper! Put that variable Wisp-On to good use!
I'll take out as many of the smaller rocks as I can.
Espio! Where's Johnny?
We're over here, Vector. I've got him.
Espio grabbed me and did a ninja flip. It was awesome! Whoa! There's no more ceiling!
Sorry, I'm surprised. And that definitely proves to you how capable of a leader Vector can be. Like, this kind of reminds me of when in the IDW comics, when like Amy was like all burnt out after like, I think, what was it, the zombie virus stuff, or was it yeah, she was burnt out and stuff. It was like, I just don't have the mentality to lead right now. And then Vector took over and was like, all right, it's all good, Amy, I got you. It was like, all right, let's jump Zavok. I mean, it's hard to utilize Chaos since, for one, he doesn't speak at all. And I don't think he has a consciousness, too. It's basically the physical form of anger from a child death. Well, I mean, well, that's kind of a contradiction, because of course he has a consciousness if he's able to get angry. Like Chaos, and just because he can't speak doesn't mean you can't utilize him. Well, I don't see how you can really utilize him like that in the Chaotix Files, besides, him just kind of being there and making like I don't know, some kind of squishy noise or something like that, being, made of water. But I mean, like in general, in like Sonic games and stuff, they can always like make Chaos like a playable character or something like that. Or, incorporate him a little bit into the story. But that's just an idea, though.
Sonic? What is that?
You mean that jet black glow in the sky?
Yeah, the one that's getting closer and making me want to jam some of these rocks into my ear holes.
Well, I think we can guess.
Espio? Is that?
Yes, that's Infinite, Tangle. Back from the dead and looking especially irritated.
Irritated is right. But more worrying than that, Infinite is looking more dangerous than ever. The last time he showed up, he took out whole armies. And all we have are the 7 of us. And none of us have Commander Tower on speed dial.
Le Plaisir by Maison Perrier.
Are you having trouble trying to keep up with your professor? You've got to try Otter. Here's how it works.
Infinite, my most trusted and accomplished lieutenant.
Dr. Eggman.
I'm given to understand that you've done me the favor of collecting the rest of the astroscopic lenses. Yes?
Done you the favor, have I?
Indeed. Now, be a good soldier and hand them over so that I may complete the set.
Ah, yes. I see you have the last one right there.
Yes, indeed.
I like how Infinite is just being sarcastic and stuff and whatnot. And then, honestly, I'm not gonna lie. When I was watching this, I'm like, man, Infinite. I mean, rightfully so, is more pissed off than ever. And usually, he always has like this like composed kind of like nobody can do anything to me, arrogant, like kind of thing. Where he's like, I sense your fear and all this other stuff, or because Infinite's cocky because he got the Phantom Ruby on him and stuff. It was like, I can be Sonic, I can be Silver. I haven't tried my luck with Shadow. Like,
my esteemed subordinate. And once I've collected...
Give me that.
Hey, that's mine! Return that lens at once!
And there he goes. Right back up the way he came.
And what else was I going to say? And I will say, yeah, like I said, Infinite, like I said, this man has a good character design. He has a good, a good theme. He even has a good voice actor and stuff. The only thing that just messed up with Infinite was like his story and stuff. Like, oh, this guy was just a random mercenary that, took on Shadow and stuff in that episode Shadow thing. And then, that became his motivation. But hey, sometimes with some villains, some villains just need to be a little generic or have just not that, when it comes to motivations, just to be evil and stuff sometimes. Although, don't get me wrong, it was kind of dumb. And like I said, I do kind of joke around and say, like, honestly, Infinite is like a generic anime villain, pretty much. But still, I mean, like I said, I would kind of prefer, we need something like that in the Sonic universe, though. I think the possibility with Chaos concept is for someone to use his powers, like in Fleetway comics. One of the Draconian leaders fused with Chaos, or when Dingo became a monster due to the Master Emerald. Yeah. Well, I don't know about that per se, about somebody, about a person using Chaos's powers directly, but
It's probably too much to ask that Infinite could just take off and, leave us alone now.
Way too much to ask, yeah.
I can't believe it! Betrayed by one of my most loyal soldiers! And it's all because of you, Vector.
Huh?
Vector.
Me? How is any of this my fault? The Chaotix were just minding our own business when this whole lens heist thing fell into our laps.
Whether that's true or not, I'm still going to take it out of your hide. Do you realize how much power could have been mine if I'd gotten the whole set of lenses?
No, no one does. Because we don't know what they do.
Doctor.
All of you! Every last one of you has been nothing but a royal thorn in my backside since I had the displeasure of making your acquaintance. I'm going to bring the rest of this ruined, useless base down on your heads!
Doctor.
Oh, yeah? You and what army? The one we've been slamming into bits and pieces on the regular?
Forget the army. I'll drive you all like tent pegs and I'll do it myself.
Doctor,
What, Sage? What do you want?
long-range telemetry has detected a floating...
Yes, dear. I'm just kidding. But yeah, but I definitely like Sage and Dr. Eggman's dynamic. Because Sage is like, well, remember how before Sage was even created, and this might be inspired by, but remember Eggette back from like after like Sonic Mania had came out, I think it was like 2017. Like people kind of like had this idea or inspiration for this idea because like Eggman was like upside down, so it looked like a completely different character. Like where like this he was in this like spider like mech suit or whatever, and it looked like he was upside down, but it looked like basically like if like there was this character with like long hair, like with hair standing upwards or whatever, and somebody turned that into like a character design made it like Eggette. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Sage is based off the Eggette and stuff, and kind of like how people made those fan comics and stuff like Eggman and Eggette. Well, you have that dynamic now with Sage and Dr. Eggman. So I kind of like how we're kind of getting that though. So that's definitely nice little fan service thing to the fans of Sonic.
platform concealed inside a cloud, suspended approximately 2,000 meters overhead.
Yes, and?
It appears to consist of a control deck affixed to a vertical scaffold,
Please, get to the point.
in which there seems to be the entire set of astroscopic lenses stacked like magnifiers in a giant telescope.
Adam is the best Eggman child ever if he betrayed him later on. Yeah, I remember Adam from the Archie comics and stuff from the original timeline. Yeah, Adam was pretty nice too. I wasn't a huge fan like that, to be honest, but but yeah, he was. Yeah, I definitely remember that storyline Ian Flynn wrote, where like I think Adam like tried to like take over or whatever, and he was trying to like basically like steal all the Chaos Emeralds and stuff, and it was kind of a way to try to write out because like there's more than 7 Chaos Emeralds inside the Archie comics and stuff. Like there's like tons of them, but in order to kind of write that up the story and stuff, they kind of created this whole thing where Adam was after every Chaos Emerald in the universe, where he would have become unstoppable. I mean, 7 alone, like 1 Chaos Emerald alone is enough to take over the universe, but like all the Chaos Emeralds throughout the entire universe and stuff, that's more than like yeah. So yeah, he definitely would have been way more powerful than like Super Sonic or Tail, like or Turbo Tails or Super Shadow and all that stuff during the time, if he had won. But he took that L.
Oh, wow! Let me guess. They're focusing a beam of power directly onto Infinite.
That would be correct, Miles Prower. The platform tracks his movements on the ground below.
And I'm betting as long as all the lenses are focused on him,
He'll be constantly connected to whatever.
I also like how somebody else is able to call Tails by his actual like first name, Miles Prower. And don't get me wrong, of course, Tails is a more catchier name than Miles Prower. But I'm just saying, like at least like acknowledge that his real name is Miles, which is a good name too. Because you have like some characters that are like professional and stuff, and sometimes they might like want to be like professional and just say like, oh, well, Miles or Miles Prower and stuff like that, versus just saying Tails the Fox or hey, what's up, Tails, which is Tails' nickname.
Power they give him.
Hey, I'm awesome at breaking stuff. I could fly up there and try to break the thing. That might not be a bad idea. Charmy and I can both fly and...
Forget it! Not till we know more about what we're dealing with.
Watch out. He's coming back.
I could obliterate all of you in a heartbeat, but that would limit your suffering.
Speech. Talk about suffering.
Therefore, I will explain to those who do not know me exactly why you are about to meet Oblivion.
Whoa! There's like 6 Infinites! They're all over the place! How's he doing that?
It's the lenses. Instead of making duplicates of us, he's made duplicates of himself.
Once, long ago, I was a mercenary commander. Along with my Jackal squad, I accomplished greatness. Until I realized that I saw no value in the world. Everywhere I looked, I beheld nothing but worthless people, bent on achieving meaningless goals for petty, shallow reasons.
Tangle, use your tail! There's an infinite right next to you!
Whoa! My tail went right through that one!
They're illusions!
The real infinite's gotta be here! Get him! Take them all down! Charlie! Home attack that one! Espio, try your kunai! Fire away with her!
My contempt for the world turned to hatred. There was nothing left to salvage anymore. I wanted to see it all destroyed. Dr. Eggman gave me that chance.
I almost said Vector. If Infinite had the chance, it would be kind of interesting though if like they gave Infinite give him an actual game where he's the main villain this time, and like the Jackal Squad was like kind of like his sub bosses. It would probably be like the hard boiled eggy. I said the hard boiled eggies, the hard boiled eggs from Sonic Mania and stuff. You know how you have like the heavy magician, you have the heavy racer, you have who else? The heavy ninja or heavy shinobi. You have of course the heavy king himself. That's he's the main villain of them all. Like you have all those like heavies and stuff. Like they should probably do that with Infinite and the Jackal Squad and stuff. Like what if Infinite had like lieutenants or characters and stuff. They can definitely create more villains and stuff for like the characters to go up against, kind of like the Deadly Six. Or I remember I just saw this guy, like, because there's this guy I follow, I think it's Shadow Dante, or it might be him or Mario Sonic Kart. I can't remember his name right now, but he reviews Sonic comics and stuff. But yeah, I was like, because they said that honestly they should make villains for like some of the specific heroes inside Sonic, and then just Sonic all the time, because Sonic has way too many rivals, which is true. And that's kind of why I like Surge and Kit. Surge is a rival for Sonic again, but Kit's a rival for like Tails and stuff, and Tails has he has a few rivals, but nothing that's really like not a whole lot to talk about, I would say like Speedy is somebody else, or Wave, but that's about it. But they can definitely create more villains for like some of the other characters. So with the Jackal Squad, you can have some of them be like, oh, here's a rival for Knuckles, here's a rival for Tails, here's a rival for Amy, or something, or Espio, or whatever, kind of like with the Deadly Six, because you got Zaz, who's like rivals with like Espio, Xena took on Cream, who else took on who? But Zom took on, like, I don't know, he could be one for Big or something like that. Like, yeah, the possibilities are endless. With Sega's tactics, I bet the only chance that they could actually come back in the Shadow Generations too. They'll have to milk Shadow Generations again. Because there's already an expansion pack for Sonic Generations. And I know you're just joking about them making a sequel to that, but it would be nice if they could, like, do another Shadow game or something like that. I don't think Sega will ever do a villain for Knuckles. Rouge doesn't count. It's not impossible for Rouge. Finitavis and Zachary were the only ones in the franchise. Yeah, they were definitely like an anti-type of Knuckles type of thing. But, well, I would say the comics, they did create villains for Knuckles, like Interjack, or what was that one Hunter dude? That was kind of like a Kraven the Hunter kind of guy. That Knuckles had taken on. Like, yeah, there was him, but yeah.
Well, now I think that's overstating things a bit.
The real Infinite's gotta be here somewhere.
I've got his heat signature, but he's moving too fast to target.
Eggman gifted me the power of the Phantom Ruby, and I became transcendent. No longer a simple mercenary. I grew into something more, something far greater.
Keep going, everybody! We've gotta bring it down before things get worse! Tangle, look out!
Tangle, watch it!
Sorry, Tails.
With the Ruby's power, I could topple armies, crush heroes, I could raise the world and replace it with whatever I wanted. I became an irresistible force. And I hated the dullards and weaklings who opposed me, believing themselves to be immovable objects. Especially Sonic.
Everybody, get shoulder to shoulder so you don't hit anyone accidentally.
Except maybe Eggman.
Hey!
Time after time, Sonic threw himself in the way of my plans like a massive wrench in the gears. Why did he have to challenge my strength and the power I was entitled to? Because of those arrogant fools and the worthless cronies who aided them.
Interjack is not much of a villain for Knuckles, but a fear he could lose control and become that if it still was Finatavis or Dimitri in that armor. Yeah. I mean, but still, I mean, like Interjack, I mean, he is still kind of an enemy for like Knuckles. He's more of a kind of a force. And so, I mean, Dimitri is the most notable like Interjack and stuff because that was the one that Knuckles had encountered. But you know, at first with all this stuff, but you know, Interjack is like a force that is able to like possess echidnas and stuff and become like this all-powerful god or whatever, like Nile Omnipotent and all that stuff. And yeah, obviously in some futures or in some versions, Knuckles has been like possessed by Infinite. Has been possessed by like Interjack and has become like evil and stuff like that, like in the comics or like when in an alternate version, the Dark Mobius timeline, you remember, like Knuckles got possessed by Interjack, but this is like a possible future where if Knuckles still had his chaos energy and he had Interjack's powers on top of that, he would have defeated Super Sonic and he would have like, you know, became Dark Interjack and it would have like taken over the world pretty much. So that is like one, like that is definitely like a time where like evil Knuckles actually did take over the world and stuff. But yeah.
And Dr. Eggman taking back my power.
Kind of reminds me of like how Knuckles and Shadow both have a lot of parallels and stuff because they both like in the comics have definitely like taken over the world in some kind of capacity, whether it be like in the alternate future or something. Like you have King Shadow or you have the Dark Interjack thing. But I know it's based off of Ian Flynn's other M story where he had this idea where like what if like Knuckles became evil and stuff in this alternate reality and took over the world pretty much.
I lost the day and only escaped thanks to a final bit of deception.
He sure is talking an awful lot, Espio.
That he is. I'm getting more and more nervous with every word.
Yeah, it's like Infinite's waiting for something.
Aimlessly I wandered the land, unknown, anonymous, stripped of the Ruby's power, and of my rightful place as the world's destroyer. A pitiful thing I had become, exiled, disgraced. Until one day I received a gift. A benefactor led me to a rare and invaluable artifact, an astroscopic lens, the only one that had not been previously discovered, and either locked up or put on display. I soon mastered the lens's ability to create illusions, and used it to begin liberating the rest of the set. Now I possess them all. The lenses amplify my life force, and I intend to use them to bring myself back to full power.
There's a pleasant thought.
Now I shall extract the revenge most brutal on all those who would oppose me, on all those who ever stood against me, on every living thing on the face of the planet!
But that's ridiculous, Infinite. You want to destroy every...
Let's see. All the more proof Archie Knuckles is more fleshed out, is the most fleshed out version of the character in the one that doesn't feel pushed to the side. It's just Sonic's buddy. Yeah, I guess you have a point there. Like, because at least with the Archie comics, they were able to like, and as much as I don't really like a lot of the lore and stuff inside the Archie comics with like Knuckles for the most part. Like, I mean, I'm not saying it's bad. It's interesting. But I'm just like, I would have rather just preferred Knuckles just to be the last Echidna and stuff because it makes his whole thing kind of a little more tragic, you know. And I know they kind of did that later on, sort of, where like Thrash, the Tasmanian devil, like pretty much captured all the echidnas and all that stuff. And then before we can get a resolution and stuff, because it was supposed to be like this open-ended kind of thing where, because they were dealing with that whole lawsuit stuff with Ken Vendors. So they had to kind of do it because they can't mention the characters that he created, like Leenda or, or Knuckles' mom or whatever and stuff in general. So yeah, and it is more fleshed out because, I mean, we do get like Knuckles' family, like his parents and even his half-brother and stuff like that, which a lot of people probably don't know. But in the comics, yeah, Knuckles has like a half-brother named Kneecaps. But yeah. I don't think, but I do kind of miss Knuckles getting a little bit focused. I wish he would get a little bit more, but I understand it's kind of a little bit kind of hard to kind of get Knuckles away from Angel Island when his role is supposed to be, guarding the Master Emerald. But, it is what it is.
Everything? Then you'd be alone. What's the point of conquering a world if...
And yeah, that's another thing too that, again, that keeps saying that separates Dr. Eggman from a lot of villains is that Eggman wouldn't really go as far as to actually destroy the world, even though he has the technology to be able to do that. But he wants to like conquer it, pretty much. Sorry, he wants to conquer it for himself and stuff for conquest more so than I'm going to destroy the earth or whatever crazy. Like that's what crazy people do. And Dr. Eggman is kind of crazy, but he wouldn't go that far.
There's nothing of the world left to rule.
Oh, the world will perish, Eggman, but not immediately. Not before I have created a never-ending nightmare in which to torment the survivors.
Well, now you're just not making sense. You can't destroy the world if we're all trapped in a never-ending nightmare. And the nightmare can't be never-ending if the world gets destroyed.
You crocodile. You and your pathetic detective agency. You thought you could interfere with my grand scheme, with my vengeance. But you are too late.
Hey, where'd all the infinite copies go? They just vanished.
There, in the center of the rubble. That's the real Infinite.
What's all that black energy floating around him?
Now I have the power of the lenses. And I am unstoppable!
All right, hey, new plan. I hereby deputize all of you.
You what now?
You're all hereby inducted into my army, which means you all have to do as I command. And I command you to fight alongside me.
You have got to be kidding.
Oh, look, Sonic, Infinite's clearly too big a threat to let him go unchecked. And if you and your little cohorts will just follow my commands, he'll be beaten in no time.
Forget it.
Come on, you, the Chaotix, the Lemur, and the Wolf over there. Surely all of you united under banner.
Don't look at Whisper like that, Dr. Eggman. I mean, you're part of the reason that got her friends killed in the first place. So, yeah, Whisper definitely does not care about Dr. Eggman like that.
Indeed, one miserable jackal.
You wanted to drive us like 10 pegs, you big meanie! Why would we help you at all?
I try to be reasonable, but does anyone appreciate it? No! Fine. I'll be taking my leave then, and all you little irritants can fight this out amongst yourselves. Sage, turn off the lights on your way out.
Yes, Doctor.
What? Eggman's just leaving? I can't believe he turned tail and run like this.
Really? I can.
Before you go, Dr. Eggman, allow me to deliver a final bit of wisdom.
What?
You gotta give him that perfect chaos, dark Gaia treatment that gave that to Eggman.
Does it mean that all that black floaty energy stuff is gathering around Infinite's fist? Oh, I get it. When he said wisdom, what he really meant was...
Dr. Eggman's blasting off again. I know, I had to say it. To me, Eggman not wanting to destroy the world is better to make a ton of plots of him helping Sonic from the likes of Finitavis to Deadly Six with the Black Arms. Yeah, because he wants to conquer. He doesn't want to destroy it. Like, yeah, even in like Sonic 3 and stuff, Eggman was like, when Professor Joe was like, "Yep, we're going to destroy the Earth," and then like Eggman was like, "What?" Like, whoa, hold on. What happened to conquering the Earth? I thought we were doing that. Why are we destroying the Earth? Like, that's crazy. And oh, Ivo, you will never be you're a good grandson, but you're no Maria. Damn.
Infinite powered up and took out Eggman.
Whoa! What a punch! Eggman actually made it over the horizon!
Don't worry, Father. I'll find you.
And Sage just dips too. But like Sage definitely does have some funny banter, even in the comics and stuff. Like I said, Sage is not a character that I get hype about like that. She is inside Sonic Crossworlds Racing now. I do not have Sonic Crossworlds Racing, but yeah, she is in that. She's going to have some interesting banter, but Sage is kind of like that AI. Like she's like, she's an AI, but she's always like got a little of that, like, I don't know, witty banter where she'll be like, like, remember in the comics and stuff where like Belle and Sage are talking and stuff, and they're like complaining about Sonic and stuff. Sage is like, Tails finds Sonic a little funny. And then Sage is like, oh, that's interesting. I had Tails labeled as intelligent in my file. I guess I was mistaken.
Guess
like,
that takes care of Eggman.
I do like that about Sage. I haven't met Sage. I know I talked about this before, but I actually met Sage's voice actress, Ryan Bartley, which I've never met a voice actor before until I met her. And I was like, I ain't gonna lie, I was kind of nervous and stuff when I was like meeting her, because I was like, this, like, I've met comic book writers and stuff like that, artists, but I've never met a voice actor. So I so I was able to like just talk to her and stuff, got her autograph. She signed my Sonic Frontiers video game case, from my Switch, so that was pretty nice. But yeah, I would definitely treasure that.
Man and Sage.
Guys, why is Infinite just staring at us like that?
Oh yeah, and then on top of that, Sage is voiced as well by my favorite voice actress in Japanese, Megumi. So that's also a bonus too.
Probably deciding which of us to swat next.
The power coming off of Infinite was palpable as he glowered down at us like a thundercloud looking for the perfect patsy to nail with a lightning bolt.
I see you, Ashes. Sage is fine, but she needs to practice to be in par with Nicole in terms of sassiness. Yeah, I mean, Sage has a little bit of that dry kind of humor and stuff being an AI, whereas like Nicole has a little bit more of a personality. Like, and I mean, like, when I mean personality, I mean like she has a little bit more of like, like she's more human, like compared to like Sage, or what I mean, like humanized.
Is this really goodbye? Is it the end of the Chaotix Detective Agency? What unimaginable power does Infinite now wield? Will SBO ever live up to his own expectations? And will Charmy ever figure out his role on the team? Tune in next time for the shocking conclusion to The Case of the Gesticulating Jackal.
Gesticulating? Give me a break, Vector.
I'm a little stressed, Sonic. You come up with a title for once.
I must say, I'm a tiny bit impressed.
Impressed at what an awesome team we are?
No. Impressed that this much of my time has been wasted by a gaggle of loathsome little parasites. Goodbye.
Too big, no gate too small, no way too dangerous, chaotic do it all. Give us your mystery, you wouldn't want to miss when the chaotics are on the case.
All right.
This has gotten so out of hand. Can you
What do I think about it? Well, I was gonna say about Daredevil. I'm not gonna watch the new season of Board again. It's nice to brought back Jessica Jones because everybody was like, man, if Daredevil was bringing in these like people and stuff to like fight some war against Kingpin, why can't he just bring in the Defenders? You know, Jessica Jones, Cage, Iron Fist. Like, you know, he obviously knows them. Elektra, somebody. But you know, but yeah, and the new costume looks pretty nice and stuff too. But it's just like, like yeah, I don't know. But anyways, yeah, this is a really good episode and stuff. Obviously, this is just more so like instead of Vector telling like recapping about you know what led up to what, and just more so like you know obviously what's going on and stuff. And just, yeah, but like I said before, I'm really enjoying the Chaotix Files more so than I thought I would. Like I was just like, oh, it's probably just gonna be its thing. But then you know I was kind of like, well, I guess I'll give it a quick little listen to and listen to some more of it later. And then I just got hooked, and I was like, wow, this is really good. So yeah, so it is definitely finally adding in a little bit more lore or bringing in certain things like, oh god, now we got Tangle and Whisper voice actors and stuff. Now we got Infinite, who's finally back after 9 years. Like wow. So I don't know, like we'll definitely we're definitely eating good a little bit with Sonic and stuff a little bit, you know. But yeah, so let's see how episode 8 turns out and stuff. But yeah, if I definitely had streamed this last night, it would have definitely have been past 1 o'clock back then, like you know, yesterday, and I definitely would have been dog tired. But I guess I'll play a few other videos and stuff, you know, before I like close out. You got also these people making these animations and stuff, like this Jonas D. Check him out and stuff. He makes some good stuff. But you know, some people make these animations and stuff based off the Chaotix Files, where you know, like yeah, to try to like animate their voices or whatever, like this.
No, it's not that. It's
Whisper? I could tell them. If it's okay with you.
Well, yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
I guess not all of you know this, but
What?
Whisper used to be part of a resistance group called the Diamond Cutters.
Yeah, like I said, it's animated beautifully. Anyways, let's see. I'm gonna read some of these comments. X-Men 97 season 2 is coming out. Okay. I hope it's I hope they show something because man, I've been waiting a couple of years for X-Men 97, and I was just talking about like with some of my friends and stuff, you know, in the Discord and stuff. I was like, man, I feel like Marvel is kind of trying to sabotage X-Men a little bit, especially with X-Men 97, because I'm like, look, you guys can definitely put out X-Men 97, but it's like you're choosing not to because you want to promote those other characters, even though everybody's demanding for the X-Men and stuff, especially after the hype with like X-Men 97 and Deadpool 3. Yeah, people kind of want more X-Men stuff now. So why are we doing this whole, well, you know, like why are we like, you know, waiting for like the last possible minute and stuff to like advertise the, you know, the X-Men? But I think it has something to do with like, well, because it's owned by Fox or something like that. Although I understand too that Disney owns Fox now or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. It's just pettiness at its finest. Sometimes I wonder how would Sonic Show be if Zero Nikali wrote it outside of Shadow, basically having the same depth and role importance as Karai. Well, I don't know about Shadow. He could have some parallels to Karai if Zero had wrote Shadow. If he worked on a Sonic Show, that would be pretty good. Pretty cool though. Yeah, most definitely. All right. I guess I'm going to talk about a little bit of Street Fighter. If you guys want to ask me some Sonic questions, feel free to. Hang on, let me pull this up. So Street Fighter just released this little featurette thing, this one set kind of thing. Because, you know, I'm looking forward to the movie and stuff. And personally myself, I know everybody's saying it's goofy. It looks goofy. It looks like it's going to be trash. It's a joke. Especially you got Tyrone Magnus here, who Tyrone Magnus is like, oh God, this is bad. He went on like 2 rants and stuff about Street Fighter 2. I mean, well, not Street Fighter 2, but Street Fighter, this movie looking all terrible and stuff. And I'm like, And that's also something I was kind of either debating on whether should I do a live stream about it or just talk about it in a live stream, or should I make a video about it? Well, I guess I'll just do it in a live stream since really I'm not really like a Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat type of channel, but but yeah, I just find it kind of like contradictory how people are shitting on the Street Fighter movie for looking goofy or cheesy or whatever, or at least like they're able to meet halfway with like how the characters actually look inside the games and stuff, and try to like replicate the fighting moves and stuff. I mean, we haven't seen anything like a Hadouken or a Flash kick. I mean, we saw a somersault kick, but we haven't seen any like effects or whatever. Which I feel like, yeah, the live action thing, it needs effects and stuff to kind of make some of the stuff flow like that. And we do have the technology for it now. But people are like, clapping it up for like Mortal Kombat 2 that's coming out, despite Mortal Kombat 1 with Cole Young and stuff. That like how people are like, oh god, that movie was terrible, but I'm definitely looking forward to Mortal Kombat 2. I mean, you kind of see where like Mortal Kombat 2 was going. I'm not saying I'm not going to watch it, because I'm going to watch both anyways, because I like Mortal Kombat and I like Street Fighter. I grew up with both. But with Mortal Kombat though, I'm like, yeah, but you guys were already disappointed with the first movie and stuff, and the second movie, I mean, seems like they might be learning from some of their mistakes and stuff, but it's also going to be like, well, I kind of know what to expect pretty much, because it's probably going to be like, well, the fight scenes, that's what I'm looking forward to, but the lore is definitely already off because of the first movie, where they introduced the dragon tattoos and Cole Young and all that. And I know a lot of people were saying that they're not seeing Cole Young, and I want to say this too. I know a lot of people were saying that they're not seeing Cole Young a lot in these Mortal Kombat 2 trailers, so that could imply that maybe Shao Kahn or something killed him off. I really hope they don't kill off Cole Young. I know that's a hot take, but I do hope that they don't kill off Cole Young. I understand, yeah, but Cole Young wasn't like a bad character like that in the first movie. And I just feel like it's just a little bit disingenuous to the actor. That's just how I view it. And I'm not saying I like Cole Young like that either, but I'm just saying like, well, like what was the point of the first movie, if you're just going to kill off this character in the second movie, you know what I'm saying? Like just to bring in Johnny Cage, which you should have done that from the start, But I don't know. Or at least do something with the Cole Young character. What if you made him into like what if you put him inside the next Mortal Kombat game or something like that, Although they failed with Mortal Kombat 1, where they're like, yeah, we're not putting in more DLC or anything like that. So that's a disappointment. But they could have added in Cole, or they could have actually had like with this movie and stuff, they could actually make Cole into like the modern day like Scorpion and stuff, like because he's supposed to be a descendant of Scorpion, so they could do something like that in my personal opinion. But I just don't want them to like kill off Cole and stuff. I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me on that one, but I just feel like, yeah, that's kind of a little bit petty if you ask me. And trust me, Mortal Kombat can definitely be petty sometimes, because they have done that where there was like a backlash against certain characters, like, I don't know, Su Hao, where I'm like, I don't think Su Hao is that bad of a character, where, you can still kind of make that character sort of work, in my personal opinion. But after like Mortal Kombat Deception and stuff, I mean, well, not Deception, Deadly Alliance, like, pretty much the MK guys have always been crapping on Su Hao, or being like, oh, he's trash, he sucks. Like in the comics, they had him killed off. Like he makes a cameo, and then Scorpion like kills him instantly by punching a hole through his head. Or like, what was it? In the MK11, like Aaron Black somehow kills Su Hao, who should have already been dead at this point, decapitates him, and then like, throws his head off on the screen or whatever. It's kind of like, yeah, so trust me, they can definitely be petty with a lot of their characters, especially the 3D era characters and stuff. Su Hao is just an example, though. So I'm like, I hope they don't do that with Cole Young and stuff, But they probably have to. Like, I mean, what I would personally do is I would just retire Cole Young. But since they have, like, and what I mean retire, I mean, like, he rides off into the sunset and he gets replaced by somebody else. But since they made this dragon tattoo a thing where, you have to be a part of the Mortal Kombat tournament if you have a tattoo, then I'm like, well, you might as well, fully commit to this character now, since, that was your great idea from the start, right? But anyways, let me read some of these comments. Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat 2 is going to be okay. I hope so. Personally, I think Street Fighter needs an animated movie rather than live action. Yeah, an animated movie, like a modern animated movie, can work. I mean, Street Fighter definitely has a lot of them. Like, well, not a lot, but they definitely do have some. Like of course, Street Fighter 2, the animated movie, Street Fighter Alpha, and they have a few other miscellaneous movies as well, and a Street Fighter 4, like a couple of OVAs of Street Fighter 4. Me too. If anything, it would have been better if both Cole and Johnny sharing the main role and becoming friends to go through the entire tournament. Yeah, that could be cool too. Because I'm just saying, like, yeah, I know how sometimes
Eczema isn't
gets
fair,
down,
and it is.
and they can be, trust me, they can definitely be spiteful towards characters and stuff. Like after they make some boneheaded decision, that was like, what made you think that was a good idea? But anyways, I just feel like a lot of people are being a little bit too hard on Street Fighter, but they're being a little bit too easy going on Mortal Kombat. Like, that's like hypocrisy to me. And they're like, oh, well, Sagat's not inside Street Fighter. This isn't my Street Fighter. Sagat isn't the end all be all in Street Fighter, but But anyways, let me play this.
We wanted to officially invite you. Do you accept the fight?
All of us, we're going to do our best to honor the characters and to bring them to life in the best way they've ever been born. Ever.
制作している監督はじめ、みんなそのストリートファイター大好きで、自分たちと同じようなファンでいてくれてるという子がすごく安心材料の一個で、
We're all big Street Fighter fans.
すごくストリートファイター大好きで、自分たちと同じようなファンでいてくれてるという子がすごく安心材料の一個で、
We're all big Street Fighter fans.
I played it on my PS4, my PS5.
I was obsessed with Street Fighter. I just hit the button so fast and then see what happens.
すごく難しいことをすごくスマートに達成してくれてると思ってます。
Like I said, I mean, they definitely got the looks down for the characters.
自分が知ってるストリートファイターはこれだ。
Nakayama knows Street Fighter better than anyone.
Here's the guy who brought us a modern Street Fighter, and he wants to play.
Good luck. But it's definitely no fair.
I'm not gonna lie, my favorite Street Fighter. If I had to say my favorite Street Fighter currently is probably Street Fighter 6. I mean, I was even playing it probably yesterday too, even. But yeah, I do enjoy playing Street Fighter 6. I never played Street Fighter as much as I played Street Fighter 6. I just enjoy playing like the World Tour and stuff for the most part because, like, I like to kind of get to know the character. Like, it helps me kind of get to know the characters a little bit more better. In a way, like, think of it like kind of like filler, where you get to see what the characters be doing in like their downtime and stuff, where they like bond with you, the avatar, the main character or whatever, and just be like and just and you learn their styles and everything, and yeah, I find that pretty cool and stuff. I mean, sometimes it can be hard, or it could be like with some missions or something like characters or whatever, you're like, this is some BS, or like you had to wear certain like accessories or whatever. But that's just the World Tour stuff. Let me get back to this.
He knows things.
Okay, really?
Okay.
Yeah, one more.
If you don't punch, I'm gonna have to hit you with the tactics. I never lose if it's fight. You don't shut your mouth. I'ma shut it for you. Fight. You win.
All right. Let me read some of these comments. I know the main character is Johnny Cage. Yeah, and that's another thing too that I also forgot to mention. Like, if people are like trashing Street Fighter more than they're trashing Mortal Kombat 2 and stuff. And I'm like, look, I'm not saying you should trash Mortal Kombat 2 or whatever, but I'm just saying it's just hypocrisy and stuff, especially like they casted Carl Urban to play as Johnny Cage. And I've been saying this, but I'm like, look, Carl Urban, he's a good actor and everything. I mean, I only seen him in like one role, but he's got a lot of charisma. But as Johnny Cage, no. You know, it's just like one of the things about Mortal Kombat is they focus, like when it comes to Johnny Cage, they just focus on like that aspect about him that's just like witty and like he's a jokester and stuff. But Johnny Cage he can definitely be a serious character when he needs to be. Like even in like the games and stuff or in the lore, like, you know, Johnny Cage, he was the one that defeated Shinnok and stuff, you know. Like, I know it's kind of like, well, has Johnny Cage defeated Shinnok? But, you know, he had his, like, you know, warrior cult powers or whatever that you know, his ancestors had developed to fight against the gods and stuff. That's pretty cool. Or, like, what else about Johnny Cage? Or, like, you know, if you guys know your stuff in, like, Mortal Kombat Armageddon, Johnny Cage was actually the one that actually, like, you know, got everybody together to fight against, like, you know, the bad guys and stuff. You know, he was the leader of the forces of light and stuff, you know. So Johnny Cage definitely does have his moments where he can definitely be serious, but they're just focusing on that aspect where he's just a jokester or he's an actor and stuff, which, you know, he is kind of a little bit out of place in some ways. Like, oh, this Hollywood actor that's like based off of Jean-Claude Van Damme, but he's still also a martial artist too, you know, where he has to like be able to fight. And Carl Urban, I'm like, I mean, he's no martial artist, not that I know of. So I'm like, so why'd you make him Johnny Cage, you know? And on top of that, why can't he be a little bit more younger, at least in his 30s? Because Johnny Cage is like at least in his late 20s, if not early 30s, in like the start of Mortal Kombat. Off the top of, I've been in discussion lately, I came to realize that 2012 Rat King's powers are bullshit. There's no way Psychic Powers made him a fighter on par with Splinter. Well, I wouldn't even say he's on par with Splinter. It's just more so like the Rat King is more of a psychological threat for Master Splinter. Now, when he had the psychic powers, when he was when he was just basically just Dr. Victor Falco before he became the Rat King, before he got blinded and everything, he had the ability where he can, like, you know, be able to predict or anticipate his opponents' next moves or their next attacks and stuff like that, which is why he was kind of like a bit of a threat in that one episode, Monkey Brains, against the Ninja Turtles and stuff, right? Because he was able to anticipate what they'll do next before they make the next move and stuff, you know. The only people that he couldn't really do that against was Michelangelo and Donatello, but he took out Michelangelo pretty quickly and stuff when he was off guard. And then Donatello, that was kind of his whole episode focus, was to like think without thinking, or try not to like, you know, telegraph his attacks and all that stuff. But later on, the Rat King, when it comes to the Master Splinter, though, when he got his powers, he was able to like mind control rats and stuff. That's what makes him more of a threat against Master Splinter and stuff, is because he can control rats, including his mind, which brings out that savage and that, you know, that nature about, you know, Master Splinter, you know, like that, oh, he's losing his humanity and stuff. But anyways, but yeah, but that's all I wanted to talk about. I talked about the Chaotix Files and stuff. I talked about Street Fighter for a bit and Mortal Kombat. Still isn't a fighter himself to beat both the Turtles and Splinter. I mean, Zevver and Bradford are more skill fighters, yet they never take down Splinter. Yeah, but like I said, with like, even though Rockwell is not like a fighter per se, like, or he's not a martial artist like the Turtles and stuff, but he was able to, like, you know, anticipate their attacks and stuff. That's why he was able to, like, you know, so he's able to like estimate like, oh, when to like avoid their attacks or what they'll do next or whatever. And then he uses like objects or whatever to like kind of like, to hit their blind spots or something. Think of it like Professor X, right, from like the X-Men. Before, Professor X had lost the ability to, like, you know, he lost the use of his legs and stuff. Professor X was able to like, he was an athlete at one point, you know, like Professor X, like there was this one time where he was like, you know, jogging and stuff, or not even jogging, but he was running like a, like he was competing against somebody like a marathon or something like that. And he beat this dude in a race because Professor X was using his powers to kind of measure when he was getting tired and when he wasn't getting tired, or when he was picking up the pace or whatever. I know that's just how it is, but that's how he was able to, like, you know, it's the same thing with probably with Rockwell as well. I mean, not Rockwell. I mean, with Falco, my bad. And then with Splinter, I wouldn't say he was fighting on par with Splinter, but he was just messing with him mentally and stuff, you know? But yeah. But anyways, that's all I kind of wanted to talk about. If you guys have any more questions, feel free to ask me before I sign off. Oh wait, hang on. Mustard or mayo? Funny. Mustard, definitely. I do not like mayonnaise at all. Well, I haven't had mayonnaise in years, but I never like mayonnaise. I like mustard and stuff. I mean, I'm more of a ketchup person, but if I had to choose, like, yeah, but I mean, mustard's also pretty nice. Like, yeah, it's nice too. Although I'm not gonna lie, ketchup makes me a little tired though whenever I have it, or like, you know, I have it like with a turkey burger or like some fries or something. MCU Avengers Doomsday would not be good. Yeah, it wouldn't definitely not be good. I guess I'll talk about this real quick. What's up, Jay Leno, if he's ever watching? He put out this video and stuff, which made like 1,600 views and stuff. That's pretty good on him. I'm not gonna talk about like the static stuff or whatever, because we've been talking about that in the Discord. But I was gonna say, like, towards the end where he was talking about characters to like that he would probably, like, if he could, that should probably get some attention. So he said characters like Ironheart, Blue Marvel, what else did he say should get attention? Oh yeah, Brother Voodoo, and there was somebody else too. But I'm not gonna talk about, like, yeah. I was gonna say, like, you know, I think 4 characters I would like to kind of, like, you know, give a little spotlight to, if I could, would probably be like, and I know I've talked about this before on my channel too, but I would say like Steel, War Machine, Vixen, to name a few. Those are probably some characters I think some black people should probably get into. Or random idea, Connor Hawk. Why not have Connor Hawk come back and like have him get some kind of focus? You know, that would be an interesting idea too. You know, but yeah, that is definitely a pretty interesting video. 4 black characters that I would definitely want to cancel. We can talk about that another time, but number 1 on my list would probably be Shuri from Black Panther. I would definitely get rid of Shuri if I could, because I just feel like Shuri is like just so unnecessary to Black Panther in general. Like, I mean, Black Panther has been around for like 60 years now, and, you know, 40 years originally, back in like the 2000s when Shuri was introduced in like 2005, and he didn't really need Shuri at all. I mean, literally, like, T'Challa, like, Shuri was never mentioned. It was just T'Challa, and, you know, over the years they kind of added in that he had brothers and stuff. Like, he had a half brother on his well, obviously both of them were on his dad's side, but like his brother Jabara, he was just evil and stuff, like a rival, and then became some kind of vibranium monster. And then White Wolf, you know, Hunter, that's T'Challa's adopted brother. Yeah, I think they're more interesting compared to like Shuri and stuff, where Shuri is like, well, it's nice that T'Challa has a nice, good sibling and stuff, but I just don't really find her to be an interesting character. And honestly, she just feels like a blight. And that's not no shade to like Letitia Wright or anything. Yeah, there's no shade on her and all that stuff, like, you know, but it's just like the character Shuri just we can just deal without her, you know, like, yeah, because there's plenty of other interesting like Black Panther stuff where you had to take away from, you know, T'Challa, like his intelligence and stuff, and give that to Shuri. Now a lot of the casuals or a lot of the people think that Shuri's the intelligent one when really like out of the siblings, when really T'Challa is also very intelligent. But you know, Ironheart is a trash character. Oh no, I agree. But yeah, I definitely agree on that. I do not like Ironheart. But that's his list though. I was like, yeah. If I had to choose like characters, like I said, that I would want to give spotlight to, like black characters and stuff, definitely like, you know, Static can definitely need some too, or not even attention, but more so like he needs good writers and like he needs a little bit of a pop, to be honest. But you know, but characters I would like to get like one spotlight, like I said, Vixen, War Machine, Steel. There's a lot, you know, there's definitely a lot. Connor Hawk, I kind of mentioned, but yeah. Raimi's MJ should be the ultimate villain in Doomsday. Funny. But yep, that's all I wanted to talk about here. It was a pretty good stream. I'm glad you guys that came out and stuff. I enjoyed, you know, watching the Chaotix Files and stuff. And then, you know, talk a little bit about Street Fighter like I wanted to. But anyways, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. This is the Jonah Level Fox, which I'm thinking about changing my name eventually. It'll probably be the Kage Level Fox or something or whatever. But yeah, I'm out. Peace. And until we meet again. Oh, and happy Saturday.